Hello there.
Hey, what is it all, your beautiful TCG loving faces? It's your boy Sean. It's here to bring you guys another video. And in today's video, this is something I was letting people know in the comments of my recent videos that I was going to go ahead and do. And it's going to be a Kuzan deck profile. Talk about the list I was running in the past two store treasure cups, and chat a little bit about what I plan to do with the deck going into OP-15. It's gonna be pretty brief because I still don't know what I'm gonna do. There's like a couple ideas I have, but it's gonna take a lot of play testing, trial and error, trying to figure out like what exactly is gonna happen going into next set and how he's gonna keep up going into next set. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. Well, very quickly, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to Billy Prince Stuffs. I talk about this guy's deck boxes all the freaking time. You guys see it in the corner of my videos when I'm playing Kuzan. I also have the Koby one as well. I love this guy's stuff. I'm not sponsored by him. I don't even know who he is. I haven't reached out to him, nothing. But I just love his deck boxes, and I plan on buying more. I love these things. You got a leader in the case, just slides straight up front. The lid slides off, has magnets to keep it in place. Enough space to keep a double sleeved deck and Dawn is just so freaking good. Billy Prince stuff on Etsy. If you guys are looking for some pretty nice swanky deck boxes, go ahead and check him out. He makes some incredible stuff. But let's go ahead and talk about the deck profile. Starting with the leader, Kuzan is a mono blue 5K leader that reads: when a card is trashed from your hand by your Navy type card's effects, draw cards equal to the number of cards you've trashed. Anytime you trash a card, if that card says Navy, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many cards you're trashing, you're drawing that many cards. So you're cycling through your deck, keeping yourself hand positive or hand neutral. The only time you go hand negative in this deck is when you're countering out. Almost countering out or when you're playing bodies, but you're drawing so many cards with this deck and with this leader ability is just so freaking good. Another thing I will go ahead and shout out. I'll put both of the links for not only Billy Print stuff, but also for these custom Dawn. I got this from a company called K Designs. I believe it's like a small two-person business. I was looking for some Dawn to make my deck look a little bit better because unfortunately Kuzan does not have an official Dawn yet. I think when we get PRB3, we might get official Kuzan Dawn, but right now these are really, really nice. I freaking love these Dawn. Like I said, I'll put their link in the description so you guys can go ahead and buy them on your own. And then the sleeves on this is from Usagi Draws on I'll put their link as well. These were actually given to me from a friend. He didn't want them anymore, and I was like, hey, like if you don't want those, I'll take those. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, you just have them. I'm probably not going to use them anymore, and I love it. I'm a huge Navy stan. If you guys haven't already figured out, I absolutely love the Navy. I even got Navy sleeves over here. I got the Kuzan sleeves. I got Koby sleeves. Like I absolutely love the Navy for one reason or another. But yeah, it's. I'll put links to all this stuff in the description so you guys can go ahead and check them out yourself. But let's hop straight into the deck profile, starting off with 2 copies of the 1-cost 1K Rosanate. He reads: opponent's turn, if your blue Navy type characters would be removed from the field by your opponent's effects, you may rest this character and trash 1 card from your hand instead. This will protect your bodies from being removed from any effects, whether it's KO, bottom deck, anything like that. This keeps it alive. You're just going to rest him, trash a card from hand, and because your leader effect, you're drawing a card, so you're cycling your hand and protecting your body. If you have a way to protect this, once it's turned sideways, he gets to hang out a little bit longer. You get to protect your board just a little bit longer. It's just such a good protection ability that, unfortunately, through the games I was playing over the past 2 Treasure Cups, I didn't take advantage of this very often, especially in my first game of the first Treasure Cup when I played against UP Sanji. I definitely should have played this out a lot sooner. I had a thought process of, oh, I want to establish board and then put this down later when I have a board established, but after I passed up the prime opportunity to do so, I felt like I never got the opportunity to do it again. I just didn't want to put it on the board and waste like my Rosanate, where they can just easily like I boof burst it or jet Calvarin it off the board, and I was like, I'm kicking myself in the butt not doing it earlier. I don't know how much it would have changed, but it's definitely something I should have tried anyway. Like, if make them waste one of those events just to get this off the board, I think it's a lot better than not doing it at all. But yeah, I'm running that at a 2 of right now. Next card we're running at a playset is the Searcher Tashigi. Just your standard Searcher. It is a 1 cost, 2K counter, 2K body, 1K counter. On play, look at the look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal to 1 Navy type card other than Tashigi, then put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. Just a standard Searcher for Navy. Absolutely love the card art specifically, but having Searchers in decks is very, very important. Helps with the consistency and helps with the game plan of the deck. Now this one's a really good one. This is the 3 cost 3K Sengoku. Has 1K counter. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 2 Navy type cards other than Sengoku, add them to your hand, then place the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. This card is so incredibly good because, like I said, with your leader effect, when you trash a card, once you complete this effect and you're grabbing not only just 1 target but 2 targets, you're then drawing a card immediately after that as well. So you're going hand positive. You're going up 2 cards in hand once you play Sengoku, or 1 card in hand basically, because you have 1. No, it's 2. I'm bad at math. The card you draw off of the trash draws you replaces itself, and then the 2 cards you grab replaces Sengoku. Oh no, so it is 1. I was right the first time. See, this is why I say POV, you suck at the game. I'm bad. But this card is just incredibly good. It's puts you hand positive. You search for 2 targets, and then you're drawing an additional card because of your leader effect. Card is just really, really freaking good. After that, we have our 2Ks. Starting off with, I believe, I had this all set up the right way. Nope, I did not. Starting off with 4 copies of Hina. 3 costs, 3K, 2K counter. Activate main, you may rest this character and trash 1 card from your hand up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 4 or less. Cannot activate blocker during this turn. A lot of this time, this is just a 2K, but into certain matchups, it does come up. Such as the Emu matchup, you can make it to the worker, he can't block, and the Ace matchup, you can make it so that Marco can't block and we're not drawing 3 cards off of it. In the Boa matchup, you can make it so the 4 cost 6K Boa blocker can't block and make you add the top card of your life to your hand. This is a very important card. Over the past 2 Treasure Cups, it was just a 2K, and a lot of the times I play this deck, it is just a 2K. But I will almost always keep it in hand, and it will be one of the last 2Ks I use because I don't want them to put a blocker down that prevents me from going for game, especially if it's the cost of 4 or less. So I'll almost always keep this in hand till the late game, just in case they do drop a blocker. And if I'm confident that they're not going to drop a blocker, or I absolutely need to counter out, then I'll go ahead and counter out with the Hina. But it is a very, very good card. Next, we have 2 copies of the Guillaume. It is a 4 cost, 5K, 2K counter. Your turn, once per turn, when your opponent activates an event, your opponent must place 1 card from their hand to the bottom of the deck. This card is incredibly good in matchups that I didn't abuse it in. Like, it's really good into Emu. It is really good into UP Sanji. It's really good into UP Luffy. It's good into decks that rely on countering with events to save their ass, like Mihawk as well. This is just really good for those matchups because regardless of how many cards they have in their hand, they can have 3, they can have 2. If they use an event while you're swinging into them, they're either adding the top card, either taking the life or risking going even lower in hand size just to defend the swing because of this card. I definitely feel like I need to be running more, and I definitely feel like I should have been abusing it a lot more in those matchups, but I just didn't. I forget how good that card is sometimes, if I'm being honest. Next up, we have a playset of the 5 cost 4K 2K counter Suru. On play, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. Your opponent returns 1 of their characters to the owner's hand. This is a card I barely ever use as anything other than a 2K. There are very specific situations where you can kind of get away with using it as an actual, as for the actual effect. Like if you're playing against a deck that's only playing 1 body per turn and you're doing a pretty good job of controlling their board as is, you can use this to bounce back whatever that 1 body was. But the problem this card has is your opponent chooses what they bounce. So if there's more than one body on the board and you pay 5 and you're like, oh, I really want to take care of like that 8 cost, and they have like a searcher or whatever on the board, they're just going to bounce back the searcher. They get the opportunity to choose. So this doesn't come up very often. And in my personal experience, it's just mainly a 2K, a searchable 2K at that. Next up, we're getting into, I believe, our playable bodies. Yes, we have, starting off, 3 copies of Bluegrass. I keep calling him Lime Juice for some reason. For Bluegrass, it is a 4-cost 6K body. On play, place up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck, and then when attacking, draw 1 card, trash 1 card from your hand. This is a really, really good body when you're going second. At 4 Dawn, you could play it, bottom deck something on your opponent's board, and then on the following turn, you're drawing 1, trashing 1, and then because of leader effect, you're drawing an additional card. So you're going hand positive every time this card swings. And to a lot of matchups like Ace, this is really good to bottom deck the Ezo before they're able to use the effect, so they kind of just don't get that cycle. It's really good into Red-Green Ace to minimize their board, getting rid of like their 1-drops, making it so that they have to find another way to fill up their board to use leader effect. It's really good into Mihawk to bottom deck their little 1-drop searchers that they need to rest for their leader effect, especially if they don't have boat. It's just good into a decent amount of matchups, but just having that 4-cost 6K body that is going to put you hand positive every time it swings is good into every matchup. This card is really good. I'm currently running it at a 3 of. I'm running a lot of cards in this deck at a 3 of to make space for other tech cards, but we'll talk about those as we get there. The next card here is my new favorite toy for the deck, and oh, this is all mixed up. My new favorite card for the deck. Let me go ahead and fix this here. It is the 5-cost 7K E-Show. On play, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, your opponent places 2 cards from their hand at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then Dawn ×1 when attacking, you may trash 1 card from your hand, give it to one of your opponent's characters minus 2K power during this turn. This card is really good for a plethora of reasons. Let's cover the first effect. On play, you trash 2 cards from your hand, and your opponent, if they're at 6 or more cards in their hand, places 2 cards from their hand to the bottom of the deck. This comes up a lot. A lot of people, especially when they play against blue, it's not going to happen much anymore. They like to play around a 5 to 6 card hand because they're afraid of getting pudding. Like, a lot of people will play at exactly 5. Some people will play at 6 because they feel like, especially if they feel like they're confident they know you as a player, they will not. They'll go to 6 because they're like, you won't pudding me at 6. There's not enough value. But this card hits at 6. So the moment you go up to 6, I'm dropping this. I'm making you bottom deck 2 cards from your hand and bring you down to 4. And then also because of leader effect, I'm trashing 2. I'm drawing 2 more. I'm cycling my hand. I'm making sure I'm seeing what I need to see, or getting bricks out of hand that I don't need right now, or getting counter, whatever the case may be. The cycle is really good. And then the Dawn ×1, when attacking, you trash 1 card from your hand to give up to one of your opponent's characters -2. This also helps you control the board. It's going to swing for 8. It's going to give something -2, making it increasingly harder for your opponents to defend their board and defend into your attacks or whatever the case may be. Like, it's rough for them when this card hits the board for more than one reason. And then since you're trashing a card, you're cycling some more. This card is my MVP. I absolutely love this card. This card is the reason why I brought Kuzan out of retirement. I think this card is just incredible. Some people feel like it's broken. I wouldn't go that far, but it is really freaking good. And I absolutely love that card. Refuse to go down to anything lower than a 4 up on this card. Next up, we have a card that is probably going to get replaced, but I'm like coping on it. I like it for a couple of reasons, and we'll get into it. And that is 5-cost 6K 1K counter Hina. As on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, return to 1 character with 6,000 base power to the owner's hand. There's one glaring problem with this card, and it lies within the text of the card itself. It's only bouncing at 6K. It's not bouncing at 6K or less. It's bouncing at base 6K. So you can't reduce something down to 6K and then bounce it. You can't produce something lower than a 6K and bounce it. You can't bounce anything lower than a 6. It has to be a 6K. This card does not come up as much as I was hoping it would. Reason why I put it in the deck is for a handful of matchups. Ace, it can bounce back Marco so that they can't block and draw 3 cards. And Boa, it can bounce back the 4-cost 6K Boa so that they can't block and make you take the life. It can bounce back the 5-cost Nami that yellow players are now playing that makes you add the top card of your life to your hand. You can bounce it so that they don't get the on KO, and if you're at 2 or less, they can't use that card again to get the same effect anymore. It's just a 1K counter in their hand, or just a 5/6 body on their board that they potentially choose to play out just to have another body. This can also bounce back Tashigi if they have no way to protect it. Like if the Tashigi is already rested and they're tapped out, this can bounce it back because it goes off of the base power. So you can bounce back like the 5-cost Tashigi that's in Mihawk. You can bounce back the Sanji, 6-cost 6K Sanji blocker. It can bounce back a lot of cards, a lot of annoying cards. But unfortunately, it doesn't come up as often as I would like it to come up. I put it into the deck as a 2-of because I was like, I like the ult and I like the character, and I can find reasons to use the card. Unfortunately, it doesn't come up as much as I would like it to, and I feel like I preemptively knew that. That's why I only run it at the 2-of. So this is probably going to get replaced, but it does have a bit of utility. It allows me to cycle my hand, and then like it's a very easy cyclable card. Like if I need to trash off a Sengoku or trash off of Bluegrass or Isho, like I could just trash that, draw into something else because like it's not going to gain that much play basically. Next up, we have 3 copies of Kuzan. Kuzan is one of the most important cards in this deck, and was the bread and butter, and still is the bread and butter with obviously the Garp. And this is the main thing you played back in the day, and still can still be the main card you play right now. It just depends on like what you're looking at. But it's a 6-cost 8K. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character gains +1 cost, which is almost always. And then on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Up to 1 of your opponent's characters cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this can just freeze a body, which is very fitting. You can just say that card can't attack. It doesn't care about cost. It doesn't care about power. It doesn't care about anything. It just says it's not attacking. It's not turning sideways. You cannot attack with that card. This card is very good. It saves me so much. It stalls the game until I can find an answer. And then on top of that, it's an 8K swing for 6. So incredibly good. This is usually like the target you want to play when you're going second at 6. Depending on like your matchup, sometimes, most of the time now, it's like Isho's the one to end up playing at 6 and then leaving like 1 Dawn up. But if there's really like something that you need to freeze, Kuzan's like the way to go. You want to stall it a little bit longer, Kuzan's the way to go. Such an incredible card. So good. I don't think I'll go any lower than 3. But like I said, a lot of things are at a 3-of right now in my deck because of me making space for random techs. And same is true for Sakazuki. Another pretty important card. 7-cost, 8K power. On play, if your leader has a Navy type, draw 2 cards, and then activate main. You may trash 1 card from your hand. Give it to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or characters. Drawing 2 at 7 is really good, especially since it's attached to an 8K body that also gains more value the later the game goes on. It's just such a good card. You're refilling your hand, like let's say you tried to counter out to save some bodies, now you're drawing 2. You can then cycle later on, or even the same turn by trashing a card to give a rested Dawn, and you're drawing another one off your leader effect. This card is definitely necessary. A lot of these cards that I'm at 3-ofs right now, I really never thought I'd be at lower than a 4-of, but like I said, testing something, making some space for other cards to just like see if it works out. I feel like I see all of these cards so freaking often because of how much cycle this deck has, so running it at 3-of doesn't bother me too much. And I don't think I'll go any lower than 3 for sure. Definitely a very good card. Helps out a lot, helps refill the hand, and helps get some extra Dawn somewhere. Make some swings a little bit bigger. Next card, the obviously other piece to the bread and butter combo, the 8-cost 8K Monkey D Garp. On play, you may trash one card from your hand, play up to one Blue Navy type character card with 8,000 power or less, other than Monkey D Garp from your hand. So almost everything else in the deck you can play off of Garp. Your most common targets are going to be the Sakazuki, the Kuzan, the Isho. These are the things that you want to play out with this card. Then you're cycling your hands because, like I said, you're trashing one card, you're drawing one card off of leader effect. You play a Kuzan, trash a card, draw another card off of leader effect. Playing Sakazuki, you draw two. So once you play the Garp and play the Sakazuki, you're drawing 3 cards. Isho, you're trashing 3, drawing 3. Like, this card helps you flood the board and get the game plan moving and grooving, getting it rolling. And once again, this is another card I feel like I was never going to go below 4, but I've realized throughout my games that if the game is going well, you're only playing a max of maybe 2. A max of 2, maybe 3 a game to keep that pressure and keep the board presence going. Like, if you play 2, your board is full. If you can keep it alive, you're only going to play 2. So I end up trashing this card quite a bit off of other effects, especially if I've already seen like a couple. But like I said, you cycle through your deck so often that you can kind of get away with these ratios where you're only running a 3 of like your big freaking bodies. But once again, very important card, very important for the game plan. Now, let's get into our events. This is a non-negotiable. Pheasant Peck. This is at a 4 of. You have to. You have to. I know that you cycle through your hands very often, but if you look at my list currently, I'm only running 10 2Ks. So if I can prevent myself from giving you 2 cards out of hand, which are 2 2Ks, and just give you a Pheasant Peck, I will. I always will. Like, if you need a 2K and a 1K, I'll give you that. But as you can see, I'm not running a lot of 1Ks either. Like, I'm running, let's see here, 12 1Ks, 10 2Ks, and a mess load of bricks. So Pheasant Peck for my personal build is very, very important. Not just for the plus 4K, but also for the cycle. Like, if I don't want to give you too many cards, I'm just going to give you a Pheasant Peck. If I don't want to give you 2 2Ks, I'm giving you a Pheasant Peck so that you don't have to gain an idea as to how many cards I have in my hand or go down even lower in hand size. There's also times where I just leave Dawn up just to make you think I have a Pheasant Peck, and then I just never use it because it was never there to begin with. But this card is extremely important, and like I said, I feel like it's a non-negotiable. You have to run it out of 4 of. Because in the late game, the more cards you get out of your hand to defend yourself, the less likely you are to survive. So Pheasant Peck definitely helps that game plan. Next up, we have some spikes. We have 2 copies of Houndblaze. Like I said, I'm currently running all my big bodies and bluegrass at a 3 of, so I can make more space for other cards in my deck. I'm running quite a few events in this deck, believe it or not, just because I feel like they come up, they have utility, they do a little bit of something to help out the game plan. Houndblaze, believe it or not, does help a lot, in my opinion, and does come up in quite a few matchups. It is a 2 cost. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3K power during this turn, and then place up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. The first part of that is really good, because people don't expect me to like bottom deck something random on their board and then buff up my Tashigi to like a 5K for 2 Dawn and then swing, or to buff up my Sengoku for 2 Dawn and make it a 6K and swing. It comes up. It's random. They don't expect that crap. But what I mainly brought it in for is to get rid of like random 1-drops in Mihawk and Red Green Law, to get rid of like Hioris against Boa, like get rid of their 2K bottom deck their 2K Hioris so that they can't bring it back with Slave Arrow to get another 2K in hand, to bottom deck the Koshiro 2K or the 2 cost blocker in green that protects like slash type characters, to get rid of Kid and Killers and Mihawk, just in case they want to, if they're running the Supernova build, or get rid of it in Red Green Law, to get rid of like the 1-drops in Mihawk as well. Like it has a bit of utility. It's going to get rid of a lot of like 1-drops and 2-drops if there's 2-drops in the meta. Right now we're currently in a spot where like there's a handful that I can actually bottom deck, But the main reason why I had it was to buff up like my little weenies up to swing and bottom deck something random on their board. I think like the main thought process I had, because I was having like Nami's a rough matchup. If they take second from us, they're gonna play girl at 2. If we're at 3, we can go Houndblaze, bottom deck girl, buff up Tashigi, and swing 5, or to buff up my leader so that when I do swing, when they do use leader effect, they're still gonna have to give me another card because I'm swinging for 8 now. But it's mainly they're just a bottom deck girl, buff up something else in the later game, or get rid of it early game and then swing for an extra 3k that they weren't expecting for 2 Dawn. So like I said, it was mainly for Nami to get rid of girl, and then as I was playing it more and more, I realized that there's more cards I could get rid of it with, or more ways that I can utilize it to then go ahead and swing with like Tashigi and Sengoku early on to get some early pressure. And then a worst case scenario, like I keep saying about a bunch of these cards, if I don't use it, it's perfect fodder to just trash and cycle through my hand. Has no counter, I'll trash it, hopefully draw into a 2k. Next up, we got 2 copies of Ice Time. There's a 5 cost. You may trash 1 card from your hand if your leader has the Navy type up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost with 10,000 power or less cannot attack until the end of your opponent's end phase. This card I wasn't a believer of initially. I really did not like this card. I was like freezing 210Ks. Doesn't seem all that good right now. It's not all that relevant, but there was a game that I recently posted against a red-black Sabo, and Sabo has such good pressure, and they have so many big bodies that they can just swing out with. And I played this card for the first time in that matchup, and froze 2 bodies to stall the game out. And I feel like this card basically won me the game. I feel like if I didn't play it when I did, I was going to lose sooner. And because I played it, I ended up stalling out the game a little longer, surviving, and ended up winning that game. It was very close, but I feel like I can attribute that win to Ice Time. And since then, I've been a firm believer of the card, and I've been using it into a lot of different matchups. To aggro matchups, I can stall it out just a little bit longer, freeze their body so that they can't swing at me, or into matchups where I feel like I'm pretty doomed, I can stall the game and try to find some answers to what's going on their board. It doesn't answer everything, and it's really rough, like into Mihawk, because they have the Beppo. Like if they're chaining Beppos, Beppo's out of range by 1k for Ice Time. If you're having a rough time against Ace, and they decide they want to be a bit aggressive with their Ace and Newgates, we're not able to freeze those either. Like for us to be able to freeze Law and Beppos and blocker beards, we have to be able to have Ishos already established and combo Isho with Ice Time. We need to be able to reduce something and then freeze the 10k or less. But other than that, I do feel like this card is a very good card right now, and I can find more importance with it going into the future. If we have aggro decks in the future, like Anel specifically, this might help out a lot to go ahead and freeze those pesky 6-cost Anels that we can't remove by our effects. Freezing it's probably like the next best thing we could do. So I feel like this might be going up once we lose. The next card I'm about to show you, which is Red Rock, my sweet love Red Rock. Absolutely love this card. 6 costs, place up to 1 character at the bottom of your opponent's deck. Anything, just bottom deck it. Just go ahead, just bottom deck it. No cost restriction, no power restriction, just bottom deck it. Get around your own KOs, just get rid of it. I don't want to do it. That's what this card is. It helps out so much, and I'm kind of doom and gloom on the fact that it's cycling out, because I abuse the crap out of this card. This card has saved me so many games. It's just getting rid of stuff, and it helps me out so much, like especially against yellow, where they have like Mimiko Robin. There's a couple games that you'll see where like my opponent will have 2 Nico Robins established. I'll swing and kill one and then bottom deck the other. I'll take that damage and then I'll bottom deck the other one, and now you have no Nico Robins. You just don't have any bodies on your board. And I'm sitting here with a board full of like 7, 8s, and you just have to contend with that tempo. But once we lose this card, I don't know. I gotta adjust how I play, recalibrate to the matchups, recalibrate Kuzan, relearn the deck basically, because I rely on this card a lot. And I mean a lot. So I'm very sad to see it go, but I understand why they don't want to reprint it and why it's getting cycled out. Next up, one of my other favorite cards, Gravity Blade. 7 costs. Place of the 2 characters at the bottom. 2 characters that cost 6 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. This is really freaking good and was very good when it first came out. People wanted this card banned. They felt like it was broken. Now you don't hear people complain about it too much. But it is still very good. It is very important to play this card at 7 if you're going first. Just get rid of those bodies right before your tempo turn, and hopefully they don't have an answer to it. It's just good to control your opponent's board, especially if you're playing against something that is pretty mid-range, where they have a lot of 6 cost or less bodies that aren't protected. This will help you go ahead and take the pressure off and reestablish your own pressure just by getting rid of it. And then out of life, it is really good as well because it bottom decks at 5 costs or less when you trigger it. This card is just extremely good. I'm definitely going to go up in it when Red Rock is cycled out, and then I definitely need to pick up the ult for this. The ult for this is so clean. Oh my god. I don't know why I haven't popped the ult for this card yet. I need to get me someone. I want to get a playset of it just in case, but the card is so nice. But that's the list. This is the list that I ran in the second Treasure Cup. The list I ran in the first Treasure Cup was literally just this difference right here. I was running Garp at a 4 of and Houndblaze at a 1 of. But after that first Treasure Cup, I felt like I had a reason to go ahead and play more than one, because I really wanted to utilize the aggression of being able to like just buff up like a Tashigi or a Sengoku and swing. So I went ahead and bumped it up to 2, and I felt like I could get away with only running Garp at a 3, because when I was running him at a 4 of, sometimes he just breaks up the hand, and then there's other times where I don't see him at all. But ironically, when I ran him at a 3 of, I saw a lot more that time. I don't understand the reasoning for that, but it happened that way. Like a lot of these cards, I put them at 3, and I saw them a lot more than I saw them when they were at 4. I don't understand why, but such is life, I suppose. But that was the list during my first Treasure Cup, and then during my second Treasure Cup, this was my list. But talking about going into next set, like I said, it's going to be pretty brief because it's going to take a lot of trial and error, and I don't know what exactly I'm going to do. I know I want to bump up Bluegrass going into next set because with Enel, they play a lot of 1-drops, and I think being able to play a 4-drop that bottom decks one of their 1-drops without having to swing into it, and then having a lot more cycle in the deck so I can build up my hand size against that matchup is going to be important. So I want to bump up Bluegrass to 4. Gion, I know for sure I want to bump up some more because if Emu's still relevant, I'm going to still need it. If with Enel being a really good deck going into next set, and they run a lot of 0-cost events that are just 2Ks in hand, if I swing 6 into you and you have to counter out with an event, Gion's going to go hard. You know, you're going to counter with a 2K, now you get a bottom deck 1. Then if Lucy's really good, this is also going to be really good into Lucy. I don't know the ruling behind them using events as like I think a 2K counter. I don't know how that works, but if they use any events on your turn as defense, they're gonna have to bottom deck a card. If it works out the way I think it does, this is definitely gonna have to be a 4 of going into next set. Because if Lucy and Enel are prevalent and that ruling works the way I think it does, this is gonna be really important into that matchup. I think I kind of want to go up on Rosinante if removal is prevalent next set, but removal hasn't really been doing much of anything recently. So I think having Rosie at 2 is fine. And then Hina, I think I want to replace with a card called Izuka. It is a 6-cost, 6K blocker that says on play, bottom deck a 4-cost. I think that will have more relevance going into the future to just bottom deck something. The only thing I feel like it doesn't answer, and we're gonna have to see a lot of going into next set, is Nami. because Nami is a 5 cost 6k. This answers it, but the Isuka won't. And I feel like yellow, ever since Sensei unbanned Raigo, we're going to be seeing a lot of yellow going into next set. But I am excited to kind of like play this deck some more in OP-15, even though, once again, it's not really a good deck. It is definitely a rogue deck, but it's one of my favorite decks in the game, and I have so much fun playing it. And like I said, I'm excited to figure out the meta, see if I can make it work, and if not, I do have other decks I'm really excited to play. Like, I know Koby does really well, and Koby's another one of my favorite decks. My two favorite decks in this game is Kuzan and Koby. Sakuzuki's up there as well. That's going to probably be like my extended format deck. Mono Black Smoker, another favorite one of my decks. I want to test out and extended as well, so we'll definitely get some content on those decks in the extended format. But as long as these two Navy decks are legal in standard, I want to play them as much as possible. And as much as I like Sakuzuki, I don't think right now is a good time to play him in regular format, because Emu's still very popular, and removal is not too good against Emu, obviously. So making this and Koby work are like the two things I'm most focused on. But worst case scenario, I am very excited to play Purple NL, because Purple NL feels very reminiscent of Red Rayleigh, and Red Rayleigh was one of my main decks for a while in set 12. I played Kuzan a lot, and I thought Kuzan was going to be my main deck, but Rayleigh just had better matchups, more success, and I took that deck to 3 different regionals. Didn't do too well, but hey, such is life. We live and we learn. But like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited to go into next set. I'm definitely going to be trying to make this work. There's going to be more Kuzan videos in the future in set 15 of me trying to figure out this meta and how I can make this deck work going into the next set. And you know, just trying to figure it out. What else can I say? But let me know what you guys think of the deck profile, and I'm very open to constructive criticism. Like, if you guys feel like I should be changing the ratios on some of these cards, or if you guys are also Kuzan copers, if you are doing something different with your list, like, go ahead and let me know down below. Let me know what you're cooking up, what spice you have, any improvements that I could potentially make to my deck, or any changes I can make to my deck. I'm 110% open to, because like I said, I want to try to make this deck work going into next set. It's a deck I tried to make work going into this set. And I'm very happy and proud of the results that I was able to push out recently, because as much as I hate losing, I've realized that this deck has performed and provided for me in this meta in a way that I didn't think it was going to. Like, almost every local I enter, I'm going X1. I haven't won a local with Kuzan yet, unfortunately. But I always have gone X1 with this deck. It's like I'm just shy of greatness. But that means that, like, I can improve, I can get better, and I can try to learn and try to make it work. And going into set 15, I'm definitely going to continue to try to make this deck work. So like I said, you got any changes you would make, any advice, any spice you can share, let me know down in the comment section down below. But that'd be it. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video. 20 Caesar out. Peace.